Welcome to Foundations of Emo, hosted by Claire and Dani. Each episode we take one of our favourite bands and dive deep into their history and origins, reminiscing on our own emo roots along the way.
There's no messing about there, though. Jumping straight in,
no kissing. How are you?
Oh, it's been too long.
We're back,
baby!
After a little hiatus.
Yeah, we've lost track.
Yeah, Claire went on holiday, there was life things.
So here we are.
We're here, finally.
We couldn't remember the last time we recorded, but it was after Movements.
Yeah, so since then I've been to see Holding Absence in the Grand Social.
Did Lizzie Farrell support?
Yeah.
Was she good?
No.
Oh, why?
Okay, well, I'm biased because I've heard from several people that she's not a nice person, so I went in there just already disliking her.
All right, okay, yeah, fair.
And then when she was on stage, I told this to everybody I was with in the group as well. I was like, she's not a nice person. I've heard really bad things about her. And then she came on the stage and she was like, guys, I'm shy. And she was doing this whole thing and I was just like, it's just an act. And then everyone was like, she seems really nice. I was like, hardly. But her first couple of songs I had heard on Spotify, because who was she supposed to support?
She was supposed to support As December Falls.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had listened to her before. So I knew a couple of the songs. And then the last two tracks were really, really heavy and not for me at all.
I only know that one. Is it Addict?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm an addict.
Yeah, she played that. The first few were like kind of boppy, but then the last two songs were really heavy and it was just her screaming and like weird like music, and it was a lot. It was really a lot.
Oh.
And then Holding Absence, who I'm not a big fan of anyway, couple tracks. Now when I was listening to them in the lead up to the gig, I was like, oh, like I like this song, but I wasn't exactly excited to see them. I was just kind of going because other people were going. But they were really, really good. His voice live, like, is flawless.
Isn't he the Funeral for Friends singer now? Like, as in touring singer?
Yeah.
As in, he did one gig where he might have been a singer.
No, he's done a couple now, and I think he said whenever he is free, he will do it, but he's not, like, going to do it if it affects Holding Absence, which is fair. But his voice live is incredible. He has an amazing voice. And the energy, like, that tiny room...
Yeah.
Was packed wall to wall and it was very hot, very sweaty, but everybody, like, it was literally the second song and they were doing like a wall of death or something. I was like, what the heck? It's only just starting. It was crazy. It was good. It was a good night.
Good.
And I went straight home after. That was very good.
Well, I went to see Riverdance.
Yeah.
Last week.
Same vibes.
Like, you haven't seen it?
No.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm not any sort of Irish dancer or anything, but like, the talent those people have, I cannot get over it.
Did they do any wall of deaths?
They may as well have. Their whole upper body is just like totally straight, and their little feet are going mental. So I really enjoyed it too. It was great. I'd recommend.
And you went on holiday, and then you went on a weekend away as well.
Oh yeah,
so
all that stuff. Yeah.
She's been living the life. Don't worry about her, guys.
You know?
She was too busy to come to Holding Absence. Too much on.
We still only finished listening to these albums today.
I started listening to 30 Seconds to Mars after the last episode we recorded, and then it was so long ago that I had to like go back and listen again.
Oh no, I didn't do that now. I wouldn't.
Well, like I refreshed myself. I didn't listen from the start again.
Yeah. Have you seen them?
I have seen them live.
When?
I meant to look it up. I would say it was probably around 2007, 2008. They played in, I think it was the Olympia, and
you're going to say the Olympics. The Olympics on my brain.
It sold out. So they announced they couldn't do another date because they were travelling. So they did 2 shows in the one night.
Oh.
So they did the normal show and they did a midnight show. And I got a ticket to the midnight show. I went by myself, which is why I'm thinking I must have been about 18. It was probably about 2008.
But if a band said they were playing a show starting at midnight, I'm sorry, I just wouldn't be there.
See, I was very young at the time. I could stay up late. And I thought it was like real cool and different. Yeah. So I went to it. But the whole thing was they were playing... the big album. What's the name of it?
Yeah, that one. I should know.
The one with all the singles.
Yeah.
They were playing that start to finish.
Oh, that would be class.
In theory.
A Beautiful Lie.
The actual album itself, all of the hits are at the start and then it just gets really slow towards the end. So,
I know what
you know, if they started at midnight, by the time it was finished, I was like, please, I just want to go to bed. Please.
Who was supporting them?
I can't remember. I feel like they didn't have a support because there was 2 shows in one
night.
I was
going to say...
But I might be making that up. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, fair play to him. Who else did that? Jeremy Kennedy did that, do you remember?
No.
during COVID. So I think he had sold out his 3 arena shows. And then they obviously brought out all the rules, like you can't have X amount of people. So he's like, don't worry guys, I'm going to come up with something to make this work. So he just split all the shows into 2 shows. So he did like an afternoon show and an evening show every night. And like half the people went to each of them. But I think we might have seen him either the second last night or the last night, and his voice is fucked.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
because all his songs anyway are quite, I'd say, hard to sing. And he literally was like hoarse by the end of it.
Yeah.
Fair play to him.
Fair play.
Do you love a bit of Dermot Kennedy, actually?
Okay.
Hey, didn't we sit outside your garden and listen to him?
Yeah, that's because you wanted to, and I'm a good friend.
And that will forever be in my mind as the day Rupert, remember, nearly died. Do you remember? I was like, Rupert hasn't come home. Rupert's my cat, by the way. I was like, he hasn't come home. And then he came home the next morning and was like, dying. Yeah. Anyway, that's all the news we have, I think. Is it?
I think so, yeah.
Any more tickets? Did we buy any more tickets? Does anyone want to buy a Blink-182 ticket off Danny?
Yeah, I'm trying to sell mine because I don't necessarily want to go. But if I don't sell it, I'll probably go. So as not to waste it. But I'd rather sell it because I don't want to go.
Is it sold out?
No, but I think it's like low tickets. So I'm hoping closer to the date someone will buy it.
Yeah.
It's up for sale on Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
But I will sell it to you directly if you would like. Get in touch.
Contact us. Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Do you know much about them?
Very little, other than Jared Leto's an actor, and I've seen him in some things.
Yes. And his brother. I used to fancy his brother a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Not anymore.
Okay,
let's go. Let's see, can I pronounce things this time? 30 Seconds to Mars formed in Los Angeles, California, way back in 1998 as a collaboration between brothers Jared and Shannon Leto. The duo added guitarist Solon Bixler and bassist Matt Watcher to become a 4-piece. They originally played live under a few different names before finally settling on 30 Seconds to Mars. Do you know where that name came from?
No.
Yes, you'll never guess. It is taken from a rare manuscript called Argus Apocryphex.
Yes, I know it well.
So Jared has described the name as, quote, a reference, a rough translation from the book. 30 Seconds to Mars is like, we're so close to something that's not a tangible idea.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, we're 30 seconds to Mars, but we're just quite not there yet.
I mean,
Have people been
is that how you want to represent your band, as something that's like not quite there yet?
Well, I kind of get the whole vibe. Don't know if you got this vibe from listening to them. They do like to portray themselves as very mystical,
Yeah.
out there,
On another level.
not quite there, you know.
Not quite there, I think sums it up.
And interestingly, when they first started, Jared did not allow his vocation as a Hollywood actor to be used to promote the band. So he didn't want him being an actor associated with the band whatsoever. He wanted them to like get big on their own merit.
Like, as soon as they came out, everyone was like, hey, that's that actor
Yeah.
guy. Like, how could you separate
I
the two?
actually thought the band was before him being an actor,
Oh, okay.
because I didn't, you know, what would I be watching that he's in? And then when 30 Seconds to Mars came out, I was like, hey. So now I'd be like, I would count this as his primary job. Whereas it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Do you know any of his movies?
I recently started watching that movie Urban Legend, like the horror movie he was in. He's like really young in it, but I only really watched the first kind of half an hour of it and then fell asleep. So it says a lot about the movie. But he just, obviously I don't know the man. I've never met him. In my head, like how I think of him is like someone who's just so into himself and takes himself like really seriously.
Yes.
And even in the movie, I know he was playing a character, but I felt like he was taking it really seriously.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
just like, here, like this is a fucking teen slasher movie. Like
Yeah.
there's no need.
Yeah.
There's no need.
I haven't seen him in that much at all. Like literally, I think I've seen him in Suicide Squad.
He was in Dallas Buyers Club, wasn't
I
he?
haven't seen that.
He was really good in that.
Panic Room, I have seen him in that. Didn't know it was him though, because I didn't know who he was at the time. Anyway, so in the early years of the band, they performed at small American venues and clubs while writing their debut album. Jared wrote the majority of the songs, and their work led to a number of record labels being interested in them. They eventually signed to Immortal Records, and in 1999, Virgin Records entered into the contract. Virgin Records have entered the chat. The band recorded their debut album in Wyoming in 2001 with producers Bob Ezrin and Brian Virtue. Great name. Ezrin has worked with bands such as Alice Cooper, Aerosmith and Kiss, while Virtue has worked with bands such as Jane's Addiction, Audioslave and Deftones, and Hawthorne Heights.
Nice.
The band felt that these two producers could help them capture the size and scope of what they wanted on their debut recording. Before the album was even released, Puddle of Mud invited them to open a 6-week tour for them in the spring of 2002. They then supported Incubus on a North American tour and then did their own small club tour in August of the same year.
Puddle of Mud is a band I would not associate with them.
No, and can you imagine? They're obviously so much bigger than Puddle of Mud now.
Yeah.
Were Puddle of Mud ever good big?
They had like one song. Really
that song, wait, hang on, don't tell me. Everything is changing. You know that one? You know that one?
Yes.
You take it all away. Yeah, that one. Wait a second. So their first studio album, 30 Seconds to Mars, was released in August 2002 through Immortal and Virgin Records. Jared described the album as, quote, a concept album that focuses on human struggle and self-determination, in which otherworldly elements and conceptual ideas are used to illustrate a truthful, personal situation. And I just kind of feel like he's one of these people that says a lot of words.
Like, even listening to that, I'm like, no, that is exactly what it sounds like, but it's so over the top.
It's so many words. Like, just say what you want to say without all this.
But it's all like a concept album with otherworldly elements. Like, I got that when I listened to it, but that doesn't make it good.
Yeah. So this album debuted at number 107 on the US Billboard 200, which isn't great, but debuted at number 1 on the US Top Heat Seekers chart. It was met with mostly positive reviews, with alternative press saying it was ambitious, immense-sounding work that's at once rich in melody. And BBC Collective said the band knowingly pushes boundaries. However, Rolling Stone felt the album had its finer moments, but they were undone by Jared Leto's baffling, pretentious poetry, which I think is what I was trying to say when I said he used a lot of words.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's very pretentious.
It is quite
That is
pretentious.
the word to describe the album.
Yeah, and him, really. Sorry. Interestingly, this album never charted in the UK, but was certified silver in July 2013. The artwork for this album is a photo of a teenage boy and features some of the band's symbolism. They're all into symbolism shit as well, yeah. The original concept for the album artwork was actually discontinued and destroyed during production following the September 11th attacks. It featured a fighter pilot ejecting from an exploding plane, which, although the band stated they never saw it as a violent image, they didn't think it was appropriate in the wake of the events.
Yikes.
That always freaks me out when things like that happen. And you're like, ugh. Like, there's always things like TV shows where the TV show would be about a girl that goes missing, and the day it's due to be, like, released, a girl goes missing.
Yeah,
and they're like,
yeah.
well, you can't play this anymore. So the band toured with Billy Talent and Mother Earth at the end of 2002, and in early 2003, guitarist Bixler left the band due to issues related to touring. He was replaced by Tomo Milicevic. Who auditioned to be part of the band. Which is funny, imagine having to audition. I'd be like, do you not just want me in the band? So they returned to the studio the following year to begin working on their second album, A Beautiful Lie. Producer Josh Abraham was chosen for this one, who has worked with an eclectic bunch of people, such as Kelly Clarkson, Velvet Revolver, Shakira, Linkin Park, and Carly Rae Jepsen.
At your feet, I'm at your feet.
I was like, I don't know where this is going.
You got to do your Puddle of Mud impression, so I got to do my Shakira impression.
I don't know, that's what it was. Oh yeah, hey, I just met you. So due to Jared's acting career, the band travelled to 4 different continents during the recording process. A Beautiful Lie is considered notably different from their debut, both lyrically and musically. There is a whole big long quote from Jared about it, but I really couldn't cope with reading the whole thing. But he begins by saying, on the first record, I created a world, then hid behind it. With A Beautiful Lie, it was time to take a more personal and less cerebral approach.
Yeah, I can't stand him.
But if you look up like their albums and stuff and all the credits, he literally writes every single song himself. Like, there's no band input. It's like all songs written by Jared.
Yeah,
Mad.
it's his kind of project.
100%. Where does he have the time? Again, where do these people get the time? So this is the 30 Seconds to Mars album for me. The 4 singles from it, Attack, The Kill, From Yesterday, and A Beautiful Lie, I felt were constantly being played on the likes of Kerrang, especially The Kill, on that whole video.
Yeah.
And I feel like the intro to The Kill is almost like the Black Parade, where like any emo from that year will recognise that song instantly. And now that I'm thinking about it, I can't even think of what the intro is.
Which is the one that's like, do, do, do.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
In my head, I'm like, I was like, why are you singing the Black Parade for? So the unmastered version of the album was actually leaked online 5 months before its scheduled release, which forced the band to set back the completed album's release date, which ended up being in August 2005. Cool album things which bands don't do anymore. Golden passes were included with 3 of the special versions of the album that entitled people to free entrance and backstage access to any 30 Seconds to Mars show for the rest of their formation.
That's cool.
But I wonder if anyone's still holding on to them, because you'd be so like, will I go to this show and use it? Will I wait till their next show?
I feel like I'd try and cash it in as soon as possible, because
Yeah,
you never
I
know what's going to happen with the band if they're going to break up or something.
That's very true. Yeah. So fans of the band refer to themselves as members of the Echelon.
Okay. Is this where we're getting weird?
And before the release of the deluxe version of the album, the band requested they send in their names so that they could thank them all for the support over the years. The inside cover of the deluxe version contains a list of the fans' names, which I can't really imagine. How big is that?
How small is the print?
That's true.
You can't even find your name. You're like,
Hey, wait a second!
a magnifying glass out.
So when I was writing this and found out A Beautiful Lie came out in 2005, I was like, I could have sworn that was at its peak when I was 17, 18, which would have been like a few years later. So interestingly enough, they actually re-released the album in 2007 after touring Europe extensively in an attempt to expose themselves to a larger audience. And it actually specifically states online that it was re-released in Ireland in November 2007, which contains the UK version of The Kill, and I have no idea how that differs from the US one.
Well, that makes more sense because I would have seen them. If I was going to a midnight show, I wasn't a kid, so
Yeah.
I must have been 17 going on 18,
Yeah, yeah.
at least. So yeah, that would be 2007, 2008.
I was like, I specifically remember being 17.
But yeah, why would they play an album start to finish if it wasn't their new album out at the time?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So the album won a load of awards, such as Best Single at the Kerrang Awards 2 years in a row for The Kill and From Yesterday in 2007 and 2008. Rock Sound included it in their 101 Modern Classics list, and Alternative Addiction ranked it at number 6 on their list of 20 best albums of the year. It has since been certified platinum in America and has reached platinum and gold status in several other countries as well. The Kill also set a record when it remained on the modern rock chart in the US for more than 50 weeks. Jared Leto directed the music video for it under the pseudonym Bartholomew Cubbins.
Why?
What would your pseudonym be? Pseudonym?
D-Man. D-Man Doggin. I don't know.
I think you're saying demand dogging.
Yeah, that as well. I don't know.
But I don't get the point of pseudonyms. What's the point of them if everyone knows who you are?
It seems like he likes all the credit. If he's writing everything himself, all by himself, why would you not just take the credit for doing the video as well?
But he is taking the credit because we all know who he is.
Yeah.
So, are you just trying to be quirky?
Yeah, just trying to be...
Have an alter ego?
Oh, he's exhausting. We're only on the second album.
So during all this success, bassist Matt Watcher actually left the group to spend more time with his family and was replaced by Tim Kelleher, but he only performed live. And when I was reading this, I was like, what? Sure, where else is he going to perform?
Well, he only performs live. He doesn't perform on the recordings.
But they haven't recorded anything yet. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe they just
It's like a weird thing
hired
to say.
him just for live performance. Like, told him that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah. So 2008 was the year they began to record their third album, This Is War. They worked with Flood, just Flood, no first name, who is a British producer and has worked with so many bands, including Nine Inch Nails, U2 and New Order. And they also worked with Steve Lillywhite, who again has a very famous back catalogue, such as Simple Minds and the Rolling Stones. And look, if we're not talking about perverts, we're talking about a dispute or a lawsuit with a record label. So the band had attempted to sign a new record label, which led to EMI, which is the parent label of Virgin, to file a lawsuit for $30 million.
Whoa.
They claimed the band had failed to produce 3 of the 5 records they were obliged to deliver under the 1999 contract. So I just feel like all the record labels do this. And all the bands do this. They fail to deliver what they're supposed to.
When you're signing a contract, just deliver it. But I could imagine Jared being like, I'm not in the place. I can't just make an album.
That was in my other universe.
I have to first close my eyes and go to the stars.
I'm now in this universe.
Yeah.
The contract doesn't count. So according to Jared, under Californian law, which is where they signed that contract, you cannot be bound to such a contract for more than 7 years. As the band had been contracted for 9 years, they decided to exercise their, quote, legal right to terminate our old, out-of-date contract, which according to the law is null and void.
Okay.
So after nearly a year, the case was settled using a defence based on a contract case with actress Olivia de Havilland, in which she used this law to get out of her contract with Warner Brothers. Don't know who she is.
I just don't understand how you can sign a contract for 9 years and then fight that, like, it's not legal in this state. Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, something that will make absolutely no sense to you then. After the case was settled, they then signed a new contract with EMI.
Oh, yeah.
What?
That makes sense.
They said they had resolved their differences and the decision had been made based on the willingness and enthusiasm of EMI to address their major concerns and issues. Huh.
Yes, they were nice guys in the end.
So they...
I mean, I think it's weirder that EMI wants to sign them after they broke the contract the first time.
Yeah, the whole thing is so weird. And that they want to sign them even... No, so weird. So weird. So it is very clear that 30 Seconds to Mars take their echelon crowd very seriously. And in an effort to involve them in the third album, they called an event called The Summit in Los Angeles, where they invited fans to provide backing vocals and percussion. I'm not sure how that would have worked, but it was so successful they ended up doing it again in 8 countries and extended it digitally. This is really weird as well. They also invited fans to submit close-up shots of their faces in order to make 2,000 different individual covers for the album.
Okay.
But imagine sending in your face and then not making the top 2,000.
I'm not even in the top 2,000 fans.
Jared and Shannon's mother features on a cover, as well as Cobra Starship frontman Gabe Saporta. Mm-hmm. Other notable persons include Bam Margera, Kat Von D, and Conan O'Brien.
That's a varied bunch.
But I don't think I'd want an album cover with Conan O'Brien's face on it. Especially if it's close up. So after nearly 2 years, This Is War was released at the end of 2009. The album is sometimes considered a rock opera, as it details the band's personal struggles and legal battle with the label. Critics really loved this album and praised the experimental direction. We do love an experimental direction. It was also nominated for an Echo Music Prize. Kanye West was supposed to appear on the album on the song Hurricane, on which he sang, not rapped. However, his contribution was ultimately removed because of legal issues surrounding the rights of the record labels of each of them. Damn legal issues. I don't even know what
This is the album that has... is this the one that has features from other people? Or
yes.
is that the next one I'm thinking of?
No, this one does.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it was
I
weird.
wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, but so the version with Kanye West on it wasn't released until like a while later, so it's not on the actual album. But I don't like Kanye West.
Yeah, but like, just think of, like, to me, I really liked A Beautiful Lie and like the singles and stuff like that, and that to me is 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah.
And then I kind of just lost track of them after
Yeah.
that. But now that I've gone back and listened to the albums, which I'd never listened to before, like, what happened to them after that? They just went a completely different direction.
Yeah. They're one of these bands, and I can't remember if I actually have this in the rest of the episode, but the other way we listen to bands and they're like, this is our heaviest album, and they're like, that was a bad idea, let's go back to playing what we always do. They just seem to constantly change it.
Yeah.
Every album, they're like, nah, done that, let's do this now. Done that, let's do this now.
I think I had a conversation with Neil about it when I said we were going to do this episode, and he said to him it seems like emo was really popular at the time,
yeah.
So they brought out the A Beautiful Lie album to like lean into that, and then they just changed after that because it wasn't fashionable anymore.
Very true. Yeah.
And I definitely felt it when I listened to all the albums. I was like, oh yeah, they really just kind of did one emo album and then got out of it.
Yeah. So the band promoted the album through their Into the Wild tour, which has actually earned them a Guinness World Record for the most live shows during a single album cycle, with 300 shows finishing off in December 2011. So well,
I was going to say fair play, but then I started yawning at the same time.
So naturally, after all that touring, the band took a break and used 2012 to focus on their fourth album, titled Love, Lust, Faith and Dreams.
This was a really strange album.
Stop, it was so fucking strange.
It was like a hip-hop album or something.
It was just so weird. I was like, I don't know what I'm listening to. They also released a documentary called Artifact, which detailed their legal battle against the record label and won the People's Choice Documentary Award.
Wow.
Still with this record label, though. It's kind of weird. For the album Love, Lust, Faith and Dreams, producer Steve Lillywhite returns, with Jared himself also producing. By the time they had begun recording, Jared had written over 50 songs for the album. They repeated the same event they had done for their previous album and held another summit, but it was more stripped down, with only 20 to 25 people contributing vocals to the record. The album is divided into 4 segments named after the title, with each segment being announced by a female voice proclaiming the name of the segment before the beginning of a song or at the end of the interlude.
Yeah.
Which really confused me. I didn't know what was going on.
No, I kind of figured, like, oh, this album must be divided into sections.
Yeah.
Like, I was also like, why?
The album concept could also be seen inside the actual CD, with each segment represented by colours. I prefer that idea. Different colours, colour-coded. It's nice. So the first single from the album was Up in the Air and was released in March 2013. A CD copy of the single was sent to NASA and SpaceX for launch aboard the Dragon spacecraft on SpaceX CRS-2.
Fuck off. What a load of shit.
I read this and I was like, this is the most Jared Leto thing. Do you know who he reminds me of? Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Like, he's just talking crap. Like,
Very self-important. Like, thinks he is God's gift.
Oh. So the mission was launched atop a Falcon 9 rocket on March 1st, 2013, sending the first ever commercial copy of music into space. And there was something else where it was like, so all the astronauts basically got to listen to it. I'd be like, why would you do that? Eject!
It's not even a good fucking album.
But also, like, who asked for that? Like, do you think that, like, NASA reached out to 30 Seconds to Mars and were like, send us a copy of that album. We're gonna put it into space. Or do you think Jared was like, put this on your rocket?
Oh, God, I hate it.
So the full album was released a few months later in May. Again, critics seem to love this album.
Why?
Saying it was a grand achievement and using words such as epic, sweeping drama, breathtaking and expansive to describe it. One reviewer, however, from Music OMH said it descends into something of a mess, which I more so agree with. It was the band's first album to reach the top 10 of the Billboard 200, which seems a bit mad considering how well their other albums seem to be received. And by the end of 2013, it had become one of the best-selling rock albums of the year.
I wouldn't even call it a rock album.
No, I wouldn't either. It's more like spacey.
It was
Space
the
rock.
second I saw the cover. It's the pink cover, isn't it? That says like people's names on it.
No, I don't think so. Do you want to double check that? Let's double check that. Keep talking.
I might be wrong.
Keep talking amongst yourselves. Oh, no.
We can edit it out.
That's not how these things work. 30 Seconds to Mars.
Oh, America's the one I'm
Yeah,
thinking
yeah.
of with the names on it.
This is all the
Oh,
color
yeah,
coded
this one, yeah.
yeah.
I don't even remember it being spacey.
Like, no more or no less spacey than the rest of them.
Yeah.
You know? It was the band's first album to debut on the UK rock and metal albums chart. Metal, like. And their first UK number 1. I know.
How?
They began the album tour cycle in June and played festivals such as Rock am Ring and Rock in Rio. A year later, they announced they had parted ways from Virgin Records, with Jared saying, quote, "We're free and clear and excited about the future. It's the most wonderful place to be."
I don't even have a comment. Good for him.
They then embarked on a double headlining tour with none other than Linkin Park. Love you, Linkin Park. Throughout North America. It was around this time, however, that 2 message threads were posted on the internet accusing Jared of sexual misconduct.
Ah, yes. Take a drink.
One user alleged that he had molested her when she was 17, while another accused him of paedophilia. The accuser alleged that Jared had coerced her into non-consensual sex acts from the time she was 17 to 21, claiming that although she was 17, Jared had asked her to verbally tell him she was only 14 or 15.
No. Oh my God, that's so vile.
So weird. Jared has never publicly addressed these allegations. No legal action was ever taken against him, and the posts have since been deleted. So we have to say allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. However, allegations of Jared's seemingly predatory behaviour actually started all the way back in 2005, when an again anonymous source, there's that word I can never say, described him as a serial texter who was constantly texting 16 and 17-year-old girls, using opportunities to approach several teenage models who were staying in New York. But again, nothing more ever came of this.
Again, I don't know him and I'm just making complete assumptions, but like from this, the vibe he gives off is like very narcissistic and self-serving, so that is like the character traits of someone who would then, you know, be an abuser basically.
Yeah, and like using opportunities to approach several teenage models. I could see him doing that. Yeah. I could see
Allegedly.
a lot of people doing that. Allegedly.
I feel like he's going to vanity search his own name and find this.
We should send it to him. But nonetheless, following the 4th album release, the band then launched their very own music festival called Camp Mars.
Okay.
The first edition of which took place in August 2015 in Malibu and included a series of activities in a semi-rustic setting and several DJ sets. Mm-hmm.
Again, rock and metal awards, DJ sets.
Yeah, like... It was then revealed the band had signed to Interscope Records and were working on the next album in 2016. They did a North American tour with Muse. And Muse, that's, yeah, I put them on the same, you know, everything is interstellar, spacey. And Paris, which was apparently one of the highest grossing American tours of 2017, and then performed at the 2017 MTV Music Awards with Travis Scott. Random.
Very random.
I also didn't know Travis Scott existed before... Is he the one that goes out with Kylie Jenner? No.
I think so, but don't quote me on that. I wouldn't be the person to ask.
They sang their new song Walk on Water, which was the lead single from their upcoming album. Jared gave a heartfelt tribute to Chester Bennington and Chris Cornell at the ceremony, who, as we know from our Linkin Park episode, both died earlier that year.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's the best thing he's done.
Yeah. Critics noticed their new single had a slight political edge to it, which was something they'd never really done before. And it was apparently inspired by the election of Donald Trump as President of the United States. The title of the album was also revealed to be America! It had a number of producers, including Yellow Claw, a Dutch DJ, and Zed.
I was like, oh, the drink.
And Zed, who, fun fact, is who my first cat was technically named after.
Zed?
Yeah, so we got a cat, and my housemate was like, what are we going to name him? And Zed was playing in Ireland at the time or something, and I was like, what about Zed? That's where he came from. Couldn't tell you one song that this Zed person does. But
Zed does the song with Hayley Williams, no? Or did I make that up?
Don't know, what song? You thinking of BYOB, Bring Your Own Beer? Or whatever.
No, not Airplanes. There's another song. I might be
Probably. This album has much more of an electronic and art pop influenced sound, which makes sense when you see those producers.
Yeah, 100%. This is a pop album.
Yep. There was also an accompanying documentary film to this album called A Day in the Life of America, which was shot on Independence Day in 2017 and depicts glimpses into the diversity and division of the United States. It's just also American.
Like, was it about the band at all? Why does the band need to release a documentary about...
Because it's Jared. We say band, but we really mean Jared. The album had a release date of April 2018, as we'd expect. Some people hated the new sound.
Yes.
Despite this, it became their highest entry into the Billboard 200 chart ever, debuting at number 2.
Wow.
Who's paying people off here? I don't understand. They also did this cool thing where if you bought a ticket to their Monolith tour, which was a stadium tour they did in 2018 and 2019, you got a copy of the album. The advertising campaign was mostly through billboards in landmark locations like Times Square and also a number of London Underground stations. They also did weird things for the cover again, having multiple album covers with an array of lists of words that reflect the themes of the album, including the most prescribed drugs, iconic American names, popular sex positions, and highest paid YouTubers.
It's really strange.
They also had a custom album cover generator allowing fans to create their own custom lists.
That's clever for marketing purposes.
What would you have in your cover?
I don't know.
I would have cat, emo, bacteria.
Oh dear.
However, just 2 months after the release of this album, during their Monolith tour, it was announced that Tomo Milicevic would be taking a break from the tour due to personal matters, and his official departure was announced in June of that year. Bye-bye, Tomo.
Later, Tomo.
Have you heard about their cult?
I heard, I read about it years ago, but I don't remember the details.
Yeah. So the rumours began in 2019 when a photo was tweeted of Jared basically looking like Jesus, leading followers around a private island.
Yes, I remember that.
Have you seen this photo?
Yeah.
It's the fucking weirdest
It's
photo.
So weird.
It is
so weird.
bizarre. And he literally is exactly what people depict as Jesus.
Yeah.
With the long hair and the white, and it's just so weird. So it was from the band's Mars Island retreat, where their fans were offered the chance to escape to a Mediterranean island for an intimate 3-day retreat. The band posted about it on their website, saying there would be yoga amongst trees.
I've got so many favourite bands, but if they were like, do you want to come on a yoga retreat? I'm like, I don't know if I want to go on a yoga retreat with
Not
Sleep
just
Token.
any.
Are they going to wear the mask the whole time?
But it's not just any yoga, it's yoga amongst trees.
I still would feel weird doing that with my favourite band. I
don't know, if somebody was like, do you want to come to a Mars Island retreat? I'd be like, will there be Mars bars? Because yes.
Imagine it was like, you can do a yoga retreat with Buddy Nielsen. Well, you would go. I know you would.
I fucking would. Yeah. So fans could take a dip in the pool, catch a midnight screening, or, this is the best one, gaze at the stars.
Wow. It's like I couldn't do that at home.
As well as seeing 2 intimate performances from 30 Seconds to Mars. So basic package tickets for Mars Island range from $1,500, not including flights, up to about $4,400 for the top tier experience. Although I did read one article that said the most expensive tickets were up to $6,500.
But what was the tickets? What were they getting?
Yoga amongst trees.
Midnight. No, but I mean, what's the difference between paying $1,500 for one and $4,400 for another? Probably you just get to do yoga. If you pay for the basic one, you don't even see the band. I don't know.
So far this doesn't sound too culty. It just sounds like one of those things where people who have more money than sense would pay for it. But people started feeling a bit weird about it when they discovered that fans were getting matching tattoos of the band's logo as part of the package and dressing all in white.
Yes, that is just a cult.
It doesn't help that the band uses the phrase, yes, this is a cult, regularly. Oh my God, why can't I speak? All the time. But I think this is more them just playing up to the whole thing. Because, you know, the whole echelon thing, their fans are very clearly devoted to them. And the band obviously like to involve them in things. But I think that's as far as the cult goes.
I feel like their albums were so drastically different. I don't know how you could be like a hardcore fan of the band. Because what's your thing? Because they're a bit of everything.
Yeah, I feel like when The Kill came out and everything, if they'd stayed like that, I believe there was a cohort of diehard emo fans who were like, yeah, we love Jared. But I'm like, can't imagine them all then going to yoga. But maybe some people just hadn't a fucking clue and were like, hey, that actor is doing a retreat. So Jared sat down with NME in 2021 to reveal they had penned 200 tracks for their upcoming album, taking advantage of their time in lockdown to write songs. He said they were waiting for the right opportunity to release it, but then a few months later said the band were sitting on 2, maybe 3 albums worth of material. And then finally, at the beginning of 2023, they announced they were getting ready to release new music. They shared a teaser of a new song, Stuck, in May that year and accompanied it with the announcement of their new album. The album, It's the End of the World, But It's a Beautiful Day, was released in September 2023 through Concord Records. So they switched record labels yet again. So despite the album only reaching number 76, this is more like it, on the Billboard 200, people have generally praised the band for again trying something new and continuing to experiment with new sounds.
I will say, I listened to this morning, and I think it's the most generic pop music I've ever heard.
They all just kind of went into it, to be honest. I felt really like when I was listening to them, I can't remember if it was this album or any of the other ones, but say it was called like, is there a song Rescue Me? I think that's on America. It was just like, Rescue Me.
But it's so generic. And I'm not like talking down because it's pop music. There are some absolute pop bangers out there, don't get me wrong. But like, this is so generic. Like, anybody could have released it. It's very basic.
Basic is
one
word.
song on this album, I think it's the second one, I can't remember what it's called, sounds exactly like Imagine Dragons.
Yep.
And that's probably the most exciting album or song on the album. The rest are just very basic.
Yeah, it's just so basic. I just felt like there was not a lot of... For a man of many words, there was just not a lot of words. There was kind of like... there's nothing clever about it, or there's nothing... it's just literally like saying the same words over and over with a bit of like... spacey in the background.
Did not feel it at all.
Yeah, which is really weird when you said it like that. How do they continue to like bring their fans with them?
Yeah, when everything's so different. Because they got a bit hip-hoppy for a while, and now they're just pure pop.
Maybe there's like subliminal messages and all there.
Join our cult.
Yeah, you'll just see us now for the next episode. We'll just be dressed all in white.
Yvette et Nuage.
What the hell does that mean?
In that episode of The Simpsons where they're being brainwashed into joining the army, there's like this song that's like Yvette et Nuage, but it's join the army backwards.
So obviously 30 Seconds to Mars' career has been interwoven with Jared Leto's career, as we said, and at least in his early career he earned high praise for his roles in American Psycho. Oh yeah, I forgot he was in that. Requiem for a Dream. Haven't seen that. Apparently it's very sad.
I've never seen it, yeah.
He took a 6-year hiatus in 2007, which I suppose coincides with the success of The Kill, that album. And he returned to acting in Dallas Buyers Club in 2013 and received an Academy Award and Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor. But it all went a bit downhill after that when he played the Joker in Suicide Squad, and although his performance was well received, the film as a whole was a bit of a flop. Have you heard anything about all his method acting?
I was going to say he strikes me as someone who would be doing the method acting now. He'd be doing a bit of that.
Yeah, it does a lot of that. Yeah. So I think it was Requiem for a Dream, but he did the whole like he lost 30 pounds and he like takes on the whole attitude, and when he's on the set, like he is that person, you know, he's not just an actor, he is
get a life,
that person,
get a life.
So one of the other things he did for method acting was he tried to get into the Joker's unhinged mind by sending his fellow castmates a lot of bizarre gifts, including a dead pig and a rat.
I did hear this, but there's been so many people who've played like the Joker and stuff recently, I couldn't remember if it was him or if it was someone else. Yeah, I did hear that.
So, no, this is really weird, but I don't think it's true. There's also reports of him sending anal beads, used condoms,
I was just ready to say used anal beads, and then you said used condoms.
And sticky Playboy magazines. But this was during an interview with all the castmates for E! Magazine, and they all later denied it, saying it was just a joke, which sounds more likely to me because, come on now.
Yes. I mean, I was going to say that's a step too far, but is a dead animal not a step too far?
Also, it's weird to me that he would send a dead animal, because I think he's all like an animal rights activist. And apparently he sent the rat to Margot Robbie, and she actually has it as a pet now. So that, it was still alive, obviously.
She just carries a dead rat around everywhere.
There was 1 or 2 eyebrow-raising comments made about him by his fellow Hollywood people, when in 2018 Dylan Sprouse tweeted asking what Jared's success rate was after he slid into the DMs of every female model aged 18 to 25.
At least they were legal at that stage.
Filmmaker James Gunn then replied to the tweet saying he starts at 18 on the internet. James Gunn has since deleted his tweet, and it's highly possible this was just a joke because he's known for his jokiness, albeit a very distasteful one. Jared never responded to the tweet, and even if they were being serious, they're not accusing him of anything illegal, just of being a creep. And I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people who are creeps in Hollywood.
Yeah. But I think when you get such a big head and you think you're the shit and like you're a big rock star and you're a big movie star and you've got all these awards and all, you do probably think like, well, I could have anybody, so.
Gross. So I do think he probably is a bit of a creep, but I also think it's important to mention all the other work the band do, not just Jared as a whole, because it's important to mention the rest. So they did a lot of supporting the environment, and they set up various information websites, donation links, and raising funds for charities like Habitat for Humanity and for the relief effort after the 2010 Haiti earthquake. Jared is also a gay rights activist, and I love gay rights activists, you know. And he's volunteered for years at the charity... Sorry, I don't mean to laugh, because it's a charity for like children with various medical conditions. But if he had to pick a charity to volunteer at, of course he's going to volunteer at the one called Art of Elysium.
Of course.
Like,
what's the most pretentious sounding charity I can find?
The fans of the band, the Echelon, have also started several philanthropic organisations and projects with the purpose of supporting various charities. So at least that's come out of it.
Yeah, there's some positives.
Yeah. So, to be fair now, I was totally disappointed with listening to these because I really thought I was going to rediscover something and I just didn't.
I don't think I was excited to listen. I didn't think I was going to find like, oh my god, I can't believe I've missed out on this all these years. I had a feeling it wasn't going to be for me, but I thought it would be more in the vein of Muse.
Yes.
And less a pop band. Because
I would say Muse are very spacey, can't think of another word for that, but I don't think Matt Bellamy is like this. I don't think Matt Bellamy would be like, hey Elon Musk, here's a copy of my CD.
Yeah.
Put it on the next fucking microchip that you put in people's brains. That's what he's going to do
and
next.
then it just plays on repeat in your head forever.
Oh, no!
Nightmare.
Oh my god, I don't even have a song to skip. I know what my song on repeat is.
Oh, I need to check the name of it.
Oh, I think I do know my song to skip, actually.
I know which one it is, I just can't remember what it's called. And I just have From Yesterday stuck in my head ever since I sang.
Yesterday.
I think it's the one called Buddha for Mary. Is that the one about falling in love with an astronaut?
Oh,
I think it is. It's from the first album. I was on the bus listening to it. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Is this your song to skip?
Oh, it's song to skip, yes, for sure. On repeat.
My song to skip is that one that I mentioned, Rescue Me, because like that, I literally was listening to it going, it just sounds like they're replaying the first 10 seconds for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Did you notice all their songs become really long as well?
Yeah.
And some of the albums, it was like they're all becoming like 4 or 5 minutes long. I was like, quit it.
There's no need.
Get in the bin. And my song on repeat, it's just an obvious one. Go on, it's not The Kill.
I chose Attack.
So did I! Yeah, because I actually really like that. Probably more so than The Kill.
I think The Kill and From Yesterday you still hear all the time when I get emo nights or things like that. But I haven't heard Attack in years. And when it came on, I was like, it is a fucking bop.
It is a bop.
Like, those few singles are really good songs. Yeah. Really good. But
I felt like they tried to emulate it though after that, and they kept trying to do these like big like sweeping songs, and I was like, nah, just give it up. You've done them. They're good. Don't ruin them.
Like, I do feel even at that time they were different in my head to the rest of the emo bands I was listening to. Like, they were doing something more.
Yeah.
And, like, the big videos, and, like, I just felt like they were up there. And then, like, every single they released was a banger at that time.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, they keep getting better and better.
Yeah.
And then...
Even that, is it Kings and Queens? Is it that song?
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
But then I felt like they're trying to do that with every song.
Yeah.
Everything was trying to be this big, epic, choir-y thing, and it was like,
Yeah, they just try so hard to be epic all the time.
Yeah. You just can't be epic all the time, you know? Some of us can, some of us can't.
I can do it 90% of the time, but even I need some time off.
I feel like that should be on a t-shirt. Epic. 90% of the time. Oh, so what's your band? Go on. Danny's already written the episode. Danny is like that child at school who like does the assignment as soon as it is signed, and I'm the person who does it the night before. Anyway, go on.
But I didn't realise we were going to have a hiatus between episodes. That wasn't planned, so I started working on it so I wouldn't be like stressed out. I haven't finished writing it.
Okay.
But I'm
But hang
there.
on, do I know the band?
Yes.
Well, I've listened to them before.
Yes.
Do I still listen to them now?
I have no idea about your life, Claire.
What?
It is Red Jumpsuit Apparatus.
Oh! Hi.
You okay?
What are you doing?
Recording.
Recording. I like your Nirvana t-shirt.
Thanks.
Can you give me 2 minutes? We're literally just finished.
Oh my god, sorry.
Red Jumpsuit Apparatus!
Yay!
They only have, I think, 5 albums or something.
Okay,
so.
yeah. Good one. Oh, I'm excited. The only thing I know about them is they were on an episode of The Hills.
They
Do you remember? Yeah.
Spoiler. That's my main story about them.
Oh,
No,
shit.
it's actually not. I don't have a story. That's it. It's a line.
That also reminds me of, do you remember, was it after we went to see the Black Charade and we went to the thing and Ken was like, I'm going to request a song, and we were like, what song has Ken requested? And it was a Red Jumpsuit Apparatus one, and I was like, so random.
Yeah, I remember even at the time I was like, would never in a million years have thought of that.
Great tune, but random.
But I knew they had a couple of stories, and I knew a couple of things about them, so there is some stuff to talk about.
Oh, the perverts, who knows?
They are ones who just dropped off the edge of Wikipedia like years ago, though, and have done loads of stuff since, so it's a lot of research on this episode.
Excited.
But I'll get there.
Okay, we can wear red for it. Well, your hair work counts, I suppose.
I am a red apparatus in a jumpsuit. I don't know.
I cannot imagine you in a red jumpsuit. I'm just imagining the Britney Spears latex
Yeah, it's
jumpsuit.
very me.
That's what I'll wear.
Yes. It's been at the back of my wardrobe waiting for a place to go.
Okay, guys, thanks for sticking with us through our hiatuses.
If you have any red jumpsuit apparatus stories, we'll put up a box on our Instagram the day before we record, so in about two weeks' time. So you can leave your stories or comments or thoughts or anything that you like.
Any chats, anything. You can
Because
just...
nobody had any stories about 30 Seconds to Mars, which is why we're not reading out any today.
What would you have? You had a story. I don't know anyone else who's seen them.
Who?
30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah. It was years ago as well, so... But yeah, that's it. If you like what we do here, follow us on social media. We are Foundations of Emo on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, I think, as well. And we are Foundations Emo on X with Elon Musk. Send us to space.
Yeah. Oh my god, we should give him a sticker to put on his next spaceship.
Oh my god, yes.
Speaking of stickers, we love when you take photos of stickers that you see in places. I love it so much.
We had 2 in the same night within like really
Yeah.
short space of time.
It's so exciting. So thank you so much because it makes me so happy. And we will see you next time. Bye.